Cheers. So in this video, in honor of Black History Month, we are going to be sharing our stories. We will be sharing our coming to America stories. So please sit back and enjoy this one. Grab your popcorn, your plantain chips, your tea, your coffee, your coconut water, whatever it is you sip on, and enjoy this video.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
A shout out to my cousin Tracy, man. When I first came to this country, broken English to the worst. Like, you know, I felt like I had a little bit of accent from everywhere. Sometimes, like, we'll order stuff and I'll just be waiting for her to talk. The second she'll say something, I'll be like, I want that too. So then that way I wouldn't have to, like, say everything. In Liberia, if you want someone to scoot over, you would say dress. So if someone's sitting here, I'd be like, dress. And the person will scoot over. So when I first came here, I was at school and I wanted to sit with a group of kids at the lunch table, kids that I kind of sort of knew, you know, a little. And I sat there and I kept saying, dressed. The girl kept looking at me. I'm like, dress. And I'm looking at the other girl like, why is she not listening to me? Like, you know, I'm dressed. Please dress. Dress now. I beg you by just dress. You can just dress. And I just begging this girl to dress. I'm just asking, I'm pleading to her to dress. And she finally looks at me and goes, I am dressed. And I said, but I won't sit down here. And then the one girl said, scoot over. And I said, eh? She said, when you want someone to move for you to sit, just say scoot over. And I said, hey, scoot over. And that, my friend, has always been the highlights of my man. I wish Tracy would have taught me that word before I went to school. Tracy, what happens to this? She didn't show me that one, guys. And I went to school and I'm sitting there talking about dress. And this girl's like, I am dressed. And I'm like, sister, sorry. I just won't sit down here. Please, dress. Move. My other friend had to kind of say, scoot over for her to move. She couldn't even say, just see, I get food in my hand. Or just carry yourself, push, move, scooch. She couldn't do.
So when we came to the United States, I was 14 years old, and I started high school in the U.S. in, I believe at that time I was in the 9th grade. And on this day we went to our biology classroom, and you know, I didn't know anything about the U.S. But while in the classroom, this young man decided to just disrupt the entire classroom, and his friends were just laughing. And so the teacher said to him to sit down. And I guess it's kind of pisses him off, so he started insulting the teacher. He was using all this profanity, and I'm like, wow. Because, you know, in Africa, we're not used to that kind of stuff. We're used to the teacher beating you. You don't cuss the teacher in classroom. So I saw the teacher wasn't reacting. The teacher wasn't doing anything. So I rose up from my seat and just held him by his collar, about to release one good dirty slap, like African would say, into his ears. And the teacher started screaming, no, mommy, this is not Africa. We don't do that here. This is America. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that was my little funny story. So on my second week in high school, I would have been suspended. We are not the same. Africa and America is totally different, and the culture is different. So I get to learn American culture on my second week being in high school.
It doesn't matter if you move from California to Pennsylvania, or you move from New York to Georgia. There's just some sort of cultural shock, some sort of change. So I'm sure all of us, one way or another, have some sort of story that we can share from when we left from one area to the next, right? And if it's from one school in the same state to another school, it's just something small that can make you say, wow, it's different here.
Remember, my parents decided that one day we would be moving to the U.S. just for the simple fact that Haiti wasn't the best place for us to stay at the moment. There were a lot of violence, and my parents decided that we would move to the U.S. so that we could have the opportunity for a better education, a stable place, and a safer environment. I just remember after moving to Delaware, my first day in school and just meeting new people that didn't speak the same language as myself. And it was kind of hard at first, but just like everything, you'll always find challenges and hardships. So I remember when I first went to school, I went to my homeroom class, and the first thing that happened was our teacher decided that she would give us an assignment. And just like I mentioned before, I didn't understand any English. I didn't know what was going on. So I was just sitting there looking at the piece of paper and knowing that I was stuck and I had to do something. So I looked over one of my classmates at the time, and I literally copied word for word what he had in his paper, which to me was funny, even his first name. So, but I would say that, you know, being in the U.S., it's been great, as I've been able to accomplish my goals and reach places that I never thought that I would be able to reach. So that's my story.
Even though we came from where we all came from, we were all able to be established in this land, you know, in this country. And so proud of all of my friends who are making the most out of their experience in this country, because I see a lot of times people don't take advantage of the blessings and opportunities that are in this land.
When I just came to the U.S., I got a temp job and I was expecting a lot of money. But then when the paycheck came, $48 was on the paycheck. I'm like, what? I'm not going back there. And then I got pregnant with my princess. So I stopped. I'm not going there. I fired myself. And after I got pregnant, I decided to go to the CNA school. I went to the CNA school. I got my license. I just waited. When I had my daughter, after a year, then I got a job in that area. But the other part of it that I just want to talk about a little bit is that people you think should be there for you, sometimes they are not there for you. People that you don't even know from anywhere, God will raise them to be a help to you. People outside your family that will come to be a family to you. So I just give God the glory. I tell him thank you for everything that I went through. It helped me to be who I am today. Those things that happen make me strong to know who God is and what God can do.
Hey there, my name is Nicolas Roberts, and I'm originally from the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, which is actually a country located on the top northwest of South America. When I was actually going to get a COVID test, and there was this woman screaming. I was running because the actual appointment was at 3, and because I have terrible timing, I was showing up for the actual test at 2:55. So I was literally going to be late. So I was like running to go to the post to get the COVID test. And there was this woman screaming because apparently she thought that I was running to attack her. And I looked behind me because I was screaming too. She was screaming and I was screaming because I was like, whatever she's screaming at, I don't want to be, attacked by that. Maybe it might be a bear or whatever that is, but I don't want to be attacked by that. So I was like looking at the back of me and I wasn't seeing anything. And I was like, is she seeing a ghost? Because I don't want to die by a ghost. So I was screaming and she was screaming. And then her husband stepped in front of her and he had like a gun at his side. And I ran past them screaming, of course. But then I realized, after I sat down and thought about the entire situation, I realized that she was scared because of me. And I didn't know if that was a racist experience or not, but I thank God onto this day that I'm alive and that man did not shoot me. Because literally, there was no one else behind me. And she was screaming because of me. What I really like about coming here is that lots of people haven't heard about the country Guyana. So yeah, I like actually telling people about my country. I like sharing pieces of my culture with Americans. And I've noticed that There are lots of Americans that are open to learning about an exotic country, as they say, in South America. And I like telling people that it's not Ghana, it's Guyana. And I think I've convinced lots of people to visit Guyana. So I think it's the openness that struck me.
No matter what our stories been, at the end of the day, there are stories. We treasure them. They make us laugh. They bring back memories. They make us scratch our heads and say, man, I could have done this differently.
So it was my first day of school in America, and I was in first grade, and the day was going fine. And so we had a lunch schedule about what we were going to eat that day. And I wasn't very familiar with the schedule, and so our teacher was like, today, guys, we're going to have hot dogs. And I looked at her, and I went up to her, and I was like, I don't eat dogs. Like, I'm not gonna eat a hot dog. And when I tell you, she started laughing. Like, she didn't mean to be rude, but she was just like, oh no, it's not actual dog, it's just a hot dog. And she didn't even get into depth about it, because I don't even think she knew what was in the hot dog. And I was like, oh, is there something else I can have, because I don't feel comfortable? And it was my first grade little voice talking, guys. And so yeah, that's my story, and I did not eat that hot dog.
I first came here, I wore like long skirts. In Liberia we'll call it missionary skirts. So I wore like long skirts, and I'll always like wrap my hair or just something like, you know, simple to my hair. And one time I was at school waiting to get picked up from school, and I was standing there with my long skirt on, and I think I had like a scarf or something on my head. And the lady came up to me and she said, oh, if you're looking for the parent teacher conference, it's on that side. And I looked at her and said, no, I'm a student here, and I'm just waiting to get picked up. I think I was in like 9th grade or 10th grade at the time. And that happened to me. I was just like, do I look like a parent? But one thing that's funny about that story to me now is that back in the day when I dressed and wore my African attires, like my long skirts and hair wrap or whatever, it was almost like weirdo. But now everyone is doing it. It's become this fashion, and everyone is like wearing African clothing and doing, you know, wraps and everything, and it's cool now. But back in the day when I did it, everyone looked at me like I was like this odd kid, weird, didn't know what the heck, you know, I was into. I remember I had a friend who used to call me Colors. Yes, he used to call me Colors because, of course, I wore a lot of colors. Like everything about our culture is colorful, you know. So I used to wear a lot of colors to school, and I remember he used to call me Colors. Oh, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Chris.
One of my experience when I came in the United States of America, actually the first year it wasn't easy for me. I wasn't able to speak English well. I remember I applied to the job, and for me to communicate with the supervisor, it was not easy. But I thank God that God has been opening the doors in my life. And I'm serving in the ministry in the Promise Revival Church. God bless you so much, and thank you very much for our sister Maria. It's a great blessing for this idea, and we love you guys. I wish you a happy and a wonderful day.
But you learn to adapt, because we are, as people, as humans, that's what we do. We adapt to different situations and different environments. If you're in a place where you've refused to adapt and to grow and to learn and to be teachable, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. You can't be stuck in your ways. You're holding true to your values and your culture, but also being able to apply it to where you currently are, or else you're going to be left behind. I say a lot of the times that for me, I was so sheltered in my culture, even though I lived in California, and where I lived, there was not a big Liberian community, but my mindset, my mentality was just stuck until maybe after college.
As Liberians, we have our unique way of speaking. We have our culture, our, food, the way we do things, the way we act, and certain way we pronounce certain words based on our broken English. And I remember the first time I came to America, my mom sent me to the store to get vegetable oil, and I went there and asked the guy, do you have alcohol oil here? The guy kept confused as he is, kept asking me, what do I mean? And I was so frustrated. I ran back to the house. I think it was a 5 minutes walk. Went back to the house, came back with the bottle of the vegetable oil. Show it to him. He said, "Oh, that's called vegetable oil. It's not." I'm like, "Well, where I'm from, it's called aqua oil." Black history is important. Our culture is important. That's one of my all-time favorite artists, Lucky Dube. He said, "Everywhere you go, teach the word about your culture, about who you are, about where you're from. Let it not depart from you, because it's something to be proud of." And I'm proud to be a Liberian as well. And I'm proud of my accent.
I see you. Please leave a comment with your story. Give my friends a thumbs up for sharing their story. I appreciate you guys coming back to watch my videos.